Welcome to the Lumenverse. Before we begin, are you listening to this while it's raining, or is it sunny where you are? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoy our stories, please remember to like and subscribe. Now, let's begin. The village existed in an uneasy balance with the forest, taking from it only what they needed and giving back whenever they could. They believed it was the whispering wood that brought good harvests and healthy children to their families. The villagers rarely left the confines of their village, even when winter gripped the earth with ice and hunger. No one wanted to anger the forest. Only the very brave or very foolish ever passed through its borders. The people were happy this way, and so the years went on, until one bitterly cold winter, when a stranger came to town. He left the village border and stepped into the forest, the cold air embracing him like an old friend. The glow was close now, dancing within a circle of trees just ahead. He had never been so deep in the whispering wood before. The air felt alive, filled with a strange electricity that tingled along his skin. His breath puffed white in the air as he neared the circle of trees, the light pulsing stronger now. It was so close. All he had to do was take a few more steps. Elian took a step, then another. The glow was directly within the circle of trees now, only a few feet away. A strange warmth radiated from the light, though the air was otherwise bitterly cold. He hesitated once more, then stepped into the circle beneath the branches. Elian followed the glow, his boots barely making a sound on the soft forest floor. The trees whispered as he moved past, as though they were beckoning him onward. The light grew stronger, brighter, the source just ahead. Elian jerked his hand back at the unfamiliar voice, eyes widening. He scanned the trees, certain the voice was a trick, but there was no one in sight, only the cold trees surrounding him. He looked back at it in fascination. The voice had said it needed someone to carry it. Was he meant to pick it up? Elian hesitated, his hand hovering near the lantern. Every part of him screamed in warning. He should not pick it up. He should run from the woods and never look back. He was playing with powers beyond his understanding, toying with forces he did not know, and yet a spark of curiosity burned in his heart. The voice, it had called him keeper of stories. It had chosen him. Elian gaped at the words. Dreams walk. A part of him thought he was dreaming. He pinched his arm hard to make sure. No, he was very much awake, and he felt something familiar stirring in his chest, that feeling that had driven him from the village into the forest. The desire to learn, the hunger for more. Elian ran his fingers along the cool metal of the lantern, still shocked he was holding its weight. It was solid and real. The voice had spoken to him. Something like awe and excitement began to bubble up in his chest. The forest was no longer a place of danger, at least not to him. The whispering wood accepted him. The trees seemed to open a path for him, branches leaning away from his path, moss pulling back like blankets. The glow from the lantern cast a comforting light around him, chasing away the shadows that danced along the path. After a while, the trees began to thin, and the path ended at a clearing. Faces flickered across the river surface, hazy and indistinct, disappearing as quickly as they appeared. He swore he saw a woman dancing, a king seated atop a throne, a great beast stalking through a forest. Elian leaned closer, enthralled by the shifting forms. Dreams and memories, all in the water, as if the river had collected them over the years. Elian took a deep breath, marveling at the river stones. This was madness, impossible, but the whispering would continue to surprise him. He stepped tentatively onto the first rock. It was cool and damp, but held his weight. He took another step, lantern in hand, and then another. Elian stood still, staring at the fox. Was he imagining this too? This could not be happening. It was impossible. Yet the fox was solid, real, and spoke in a voice like the rustling of trees. Where do I go from here? Elian asked, his voice quiet. The fox tilted its head, its bright gaze studying him. You are a storyteller, are you not? You have listened to the whispering wood, to the voices that others turn away from. I have, Elian replied, taking a small step towards the fox. I've never been afraid of the forest, the whispering wood. It has stories it wants to share. The fox regarded him with a keen stare, its head still tilted. The lantern felt warm in his hand, pulsing gently in time with his thumping heartbeat. Elian listened intently, still trying to wrap his mind around what the fox was saying. Me? A keeper of stories? And yet, it felt right, as if he'd finally found the purpose that had been searching for his entire life. He clutched the lantern tighter. I'll do it, he said to the fox, his voice filled with a determination he'd never felt before. I'll listen. and I'll share the stories. The whispering wood felt different on the journey with the fox. The ground was soft beneath his feet, a carpet of grass and moss that seemed to cushion his steps. The trees seemed to part as they passed, the branches leaning away to make room. The fox led the way, its white patched fur blending into the landscape. Elian followed, his eyes wide, trying to take in every detail. As they walked, he tried to make sense of everything. The river of dreams, the lantern of dreams, the dreams themselves. It was all so unbelievable. The fox slowed, allowing Elian to absorb his surroundings. The fire flashed a gentle glow over the tall grasses, their soft light flickering like candlelight. The whispers felt less like warnings now and more like invitations. He could hear the quiet lullabies that the trees sang, calling to him. Come closer. Listen. Elian closed his eyes and breathed deep, allowing the whispers to wash over him. The lullabies were soft now, gentle and soothing. He thought he could hear words in the songs, but they were too faint to catch. The sounds were as soft as a breeze. And then, in the midst of the whispers, he heard a different sound. It was a soft, rhythmic tapping, like raindrops on a glass window, except it was too precise, too steady. Not natural. The stories floated through the air, and as Elian listened, he realized the fox was right. He wasn't just hearing tales, he was experiencing them. The voices painted pictures in his mind, vivid and clear. The smell of salt water on the wind, the joy as a child touched the sky, the bitter scent of medicine as it mixed in a bowl. He felt the emotions too, the pain, the loneliness, the wonder, and the hope. Always the hope, no matter how hard the story was. The fox nodded, its eyes gleaming in the starlight. The bridge looked fragile and delicate, as if a light breeze could destroy the stars and send them back to the sky. Elian placed one foot on the bridge, half expecting it to break beneath his feet. And yet, it held firm. As they walked, the whispering of the forest was replaced with soft chiming sounds like tiny bells. The bridge was warm beneath his feet, the stars shifting and reforming beneath each step. He could feel the lantern in his hand pulsing even more strongly now, as though the night was waking it up. The fox padded along beside him, its breathing slow and measured, eyes on Elian, watching him carefully. He forced his eyes forward, though he longed to look down again at the faces in the mist. He was tempted to ask the fox if they were real, if he could climb down and reach them. But the fox had warned him about lingering, and he didn't wish to find out what would happen if he did. So, he kept his grip on the lantern, refusing to let the past distract him. Elian ran a hand wearily down his face, exhaustion beginning to catch up to him. The night had been a long, strange journey. He looked to the fox, his eyes tired but eager. The dreaming glade, he repeated, the word making his heart skip. The heart of the forest, where dreams begin. The fox nodded, tail sweeping across the grass. Not much further now. Elian knelt beside the pool, letting his fingers graze the surface of the water before setting the lantern down beside him. He expected it to tip into the pool, but it balanced perfectly right on the edge, as if held there by magic. The pool was perfectly still, almost like a mirror. There was no wind tonight, nothing to ripple the surface of the water. Elian leaned forward, his eyes locked on the mirror-like surface. He stared at his reflection, surprised by how weary he looked. But there was something different about his face too. He leaned closer, studying his own eyes, his own features. And then he heard the whispers, soft and sweet like a chorus of gentle voices. The words were indistinct, but the tone was clear, comforting, welcoming. He glanced back at the fox, still watching him intently. What are they saying? He asked quietly. He watched, awed, as the water shimmered and shifted, forming stories before his eyes. They were faint, little more than shadows and glimmers, but he could hear voices whispering from them. Laughter, tears, moments of joy or sorrow, all dancing like dreams in the water. He wanted to reach out and touch them, to pull them from the glade like threads, but his hand hovered just above the surface. He looked to the fox again, his eyes wide. Is all this real? Elian closed his eyes, the whispers lulling him into a deep, peaceful sleep. He saw images, fleeting snippets of something yet to come, laughter, tears, a journey that would shape his life. He dreamed in the glade by the pool, wrapped in the glow of the lantern, watched over by the fox. The glade was quiet, the whispers soft as a lullaby, and the stars twinkled above, bearing witness to the night and all that had passed within the forest. As Elian slept, something began to change in the glade. The whispers grew stronger, the glimmers in the pool more defined. The stories were gathering, weaving themselves into a pattern, A single story, a single path, and the fox watched over him, a silent sentinel in the night. Elian found himself drawn to the whispers as though they were calling him. He followed them, moving through the trees. Each memory he heard was faint, but he could see them in his mind's eye clear as day. Children playing, friends saying goodbye, the soft sound of a mother's voice. It was all so peaceful, dreamlike. Each memory was so vivid, so clear. The scents, the sounds, the feelings. It was all as though he was truly living through these moments. But even more than that, he could feel emotions passing through him. Longing, in that moment, for the child chasing fireflies. Contentment, as the elder hummed by their hearth. Then, he was in a new place. The whispers were louder now. They pressed in around him, filling his ears with voices. But these were not the soft voices from before. These were cries, shouts, screams, pleas for panic gripped him, but his hand still held the lantern. It glowed steadily, holding the whispers at bay. He looked around wildly, trying to get his bearings, but all he saw was fog, thick and heavy like a wet blanket. He could see now the birds were made of paper, light and thin in his hands, as though the slightest breeze would send them scattering. But somehow they stayed aloft, held by magic. His eyes widened as he read the words written in the bird's wing, the lantern in his hand giving just enough light to read them. They were words of hope, of fear, of loss. He set the bird back in the air, and it immediately resumed its place in the pattern above. Elian could not look away. The shifting patterns of dreams were beautiful, like living art. He realized the lantern in his hand was glowing even brighter now, as though it were guiding him. He watched the sky, mesmerized by the constellations, until one in particular caught his eye. A single bird broke from the formation, gliding slowly towards him through the night. As it approached, the glow of the lantern intensified, and he heard a soft sound, like something stirring just beyond his range of hearing. The bird came to a gentle stop in front of his face, and its folded paper wings opened to reveal words that seemed to burn into his mind. "I wish," he whispered, reading them silently. It was all the bird said, but the rest of the thought still echoed in his mind. "I wish I weren't alone." Elian stared for a moment at the faces in the water. They were so marred, as though seeing right through him. Some looked away shyly, but others, those ones looked at him. Their eyes met his through the reflection, though he knew it was just an illusion. They could see him. How was that possible? Why were they so real? He reached out slowly, fingers hovering just above the water's glimmering surface. He closed his eyes, breathing in the cool night air. His heart felt lighter, warmer. Not alone, those words repeated in his mind, easing his fear. He opened his eyes again, looking into the rippling water. The faces remained, a silent chorus watching him with a glimmer of hope. He could feel them now, the dreamers from the past. "We are with you," the whispers seemed to say. "You are our lantern bearer. Carry us well." Elian stared around him in awe, marveling at the sheer size of the library. The books seemed to glow with a soft light of their own, their spines glimmering like stars. This was a place of knowledge. He took a tentative step forward, running his fingers along one of the shelves. The light of the lantern guided him to a certain section, like a magnet drawing him onward. Elian moved slowly through the library, studying each book he passed. This library was a library of lives, a place where memories were kept. The lantern's light was stronger here, as though it recognized the significance of this place. It drew him onward, guiding him deeper among the shelves, until he came to a halt in front of a particular book. The librarian's words filled him with a new sense of purpose as the dream began to dissolve. This was why he had the lantern. This was his role. He would carry the stories. He allowed the dream to carry him, eager to see what came next. Elian found himself walking along a riverbank. The water was clear and still. He could see the pebbles at the bottom, smooth and silvery in the moonlight. As he walked, he noticed small objects that littered the ground around him. Paper scraps, feathers, flowers, leaves, all the things one could find in a garden or library. He picked a flower that was pale pink, and cradled it in his hands, admiring it for a moment as he continued on. The night was quiet, save for the occasional soft whisper. Elian didn't mind the silence. He had always found comfort. Elian sat up slowly, taking in the words of the fox. He had dreamed. The glade was real, the lantern and the fox were real, and so were the whispers. And now he knew what the lantern meant. He was the bearer, keeper of the stories. He smiled softly, feeling an unfamiliar lightness in his chest. Keep the stories alive. Never let them fade. Elian nodded, gripping the lantern with purpose. The forest whispered around him, a gentle background hum. The fox tilted its head, watching him. I won't let the stories fade, Elian promised softly. I'll tell them, I'll share them. I'll keep carrying this lantern and the whispers within it. It's not just a lantern. It's a symbol. It's a promise. I'll keep carrying your tales. The fox nodded approvingly, a hint of pride in its eyes. The night carried on, the moon's light casting a silver glow over the forest and the lantern at the pool's edge. And as Elian slept, wrapped in the soft whisper of the glade's ancient lullabies, the dreams went on, carried away on a sea of mist and starlight. He didn't know what the new day had in store, but as the night whispered its tales, he knew the answer was somewhere just beyond that horizon. Elian stared up at the bridge as it arched gracefully above the ravine. The threads glowed a faint gray, almost white, shifting with every breath. He could hear the gentle hum of the threads, the faintest of whispers. Come, he followed the fox onto the bridge, marveling at the feeling of starlight under his feet. The world was so quiet up here, so still. He took a breath of cool air, and the forest seemed to sigh in response. They stepped across the bridge, the world falling away beneath their feet. The ravine was vast and deep, a valley of misty shadow. The bridge, by contrast, was like a river of starlight, shimmering with pale gleams of gray and silver. As they walked, Elian noticed that he cast no shadow at all, but the stars cast silvery reflections along the bridge, as if the very stars were guiding him along. The fox padded silently, as though it could tread on air. It glanced back at him. It repeated softly, "You're close." He felt a sudden pang of vertigo. For a moment, he felt like he might begin to fall. But the fox's steady gaze kept him grounded. He moved forward, putting one foot in front of the other, and slowly he realized, I'm walking on the stars. The thought was so absurd that he almost laughed out loud. But the bridge held steady, and the stars shimmered, and the forest seemed to hum its approval. He was halfway across the ravine now. Elian nodded, understanding. He was carrying more than just the lantern. He was carrying lives. The whisper of untold stories, the memories carried on the wind. The fox gestured for him to move on. One more thing you must do, the gesture seemed to say. Elian nodded gravely, knowing something was about to change. He followed the fox, moving silently down a new path. His heart pounded in his chest, but he did not falter. Listen, the whisper in the wind seemed to call. And so, Elian listened. He touched the bells one by one, and he saw the stories they carried. A young mother singing a lullaby to a sleepless child, a fisherman sharing tales of sea monsters with his fellow villagers, a grandfather telling his grandchildren a story of far-off lands. Each one filled Elian's heart with wonder. The forest was teaching him, listen and remember. Elian was mesmerized. Each bell, each moment, each memory, it was a beautiful thing. He felt almost as if he was floating through the field, carried along by the sound of the chiming bells. The forest's soft chorus filled his heart with longing. Every story, every whisper, every life, he realized the forest remembered everything. He walked on, touching the bells gently, his heart full to bursting. Elian was transfixed, spellbound by the sight of the countless lanterns. Each one carried a different story, some bright, some faint, but none disappearing. His fingers clenched around the lantern, and the forest whispered its approval. Keep them burning, it seemed to say. Carry them onward, share their light. The lantern's faint whisper stayed with him. It seemed to echo in his heart like a beat. Let them never walk alone. It was not just a wish, it was a promise. To remember, to share, to keep walking no matter what lay ahead. He looked into the distance, watching the lanterns drift away. He felt a shiver of anticipation. He was closer to his final destination now. The lantern hummed gently in his hand. Keep going, it seemed to say. Elian watched the floating orbs, their soft glow filling him with wonder. Each one, a life, now gone, but not forgotten, not lost. He could feel their warmth, their presence, as though their spirits were surrounding him. A strange feeling washed over him. He had never known most of these people, yet somehow he could almost picture their faces, sense their stories. It was both comforting and bittersweet. He let out a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. The warm, steady glow of the resting stars soothed him, reassured him in a way he couldn't explain. They were silent, but somehow that did not feel wrong. The silence of the forest echoed with them. 1,000 whispered, I am with you. In their presence, Elian felt safe, protected, like he would never walk alone. Elian nodded, knowing it was true. Each step, each breath had been a lesson. He had learned so much in little time, and now he understood his purpose. He picked up the lantern, and its glow seemed brighter than before. It was different somehow, warmer, more alive, as if the lantern had been waiting for this moment. He felt a wave of exhaustion wash over him. With the lantern in hand and the forest's promise whispering in his ear, Elian found a comfortable patch of grass and lay down. He let his eyes droop, drifting towards sleep. The forest hummed soft a comforting lullaby that wrapped around him like a gentle blanket. For the first time in ages, he felt truly safe. "I am with you," it seemed to whisper, an echo of the resting stars. And he knew it to be true. The forest continued to whisper long after he fell asleep, its lullabies drifting through the night like a promise. The lantern glowed steadily at the heart of the glade, each pulse a gentle heartbeat, and as the forest held vigil over the sleeping lantern-bearer, another pair of eyes watched from just beyond the tree's edge. The shape stood silently, unmoving. It was slender and pale, with long black hair that fell in tangled waves. Its eyes glittered like amethysts as it watched Elian sleep. The forest seemed to notice it now, a faint tension in the air, like the sudden shift of a breeze. Even the whispered lullabies stilled. The figure remained on the edge of the glade, watching the sleeping lantern-bearer. A moment of tension hung in the air, thick and heavy. The forest held its breath, as though sensing something foreign in its realm. Finally, the slender figure stepped forward, its footsteps quiet but deliberate. It knelt by Elian's side, eyeing the lantern with interest. One slender finger traced the lantern's rim, the faintest hint of a smile playing at the edge of its lips. The figure leaned over Elian, studying him in his sleep. It touched his cheek lightly, tracing a line from just beneath his eye to his chin. Its touch was gentle, almost reverent. The lantern glowed steadily. The forest remained silent, holding its breath. The slender figure withdrew its hand and touched the lantern instead, running its fingers over the glowing surface like a child discovering a fascinating toy. The slender figure's expression remained unreadable, but its eyes flickered with a strange mixture of curiosity and wonder. It ran its fingers around the rim of the lantern again, almost as though trying to feel its power, its essence. For a moment it seemed to forget about Elian and the forest. All that mattered was the lantern, the steady, comforting glow. A low growl suddenly rumbled through the glade, interrupting the silence. The slender figure snapped back to attention, its eyes narrowing to slits. The growl was low and deep, like a warning. The slender figure jerked its head up and looked past Elian, searching for the source. The forest remained eerily still. Just when it seemed like the sound may have been a figment of their imagination, another growl filled the air, closer this time, and louder. The slender figure's eyes narrowed, and it slowly stood. Its gaze darted around the glade, as though searching for something. The growls grew louder still, reverberating through the air like thunder. Somewhere in the darkness, something large was moving, something that should not be in this forest. It was coming closer. The slender figure took a step backwards, its hands clenching into fists. Its eyes flicked back to Elian, still sleeping peacefully with the lantern at his side. Another growl echoed through the glade, closer now. Branches snapped and broke, as whatever was approaching crashed through the woods. It sounded massive, and it was coming fast. The slender figure gritted its teeth and clenched its fists tighter. It could see the creature now, a massive, shadowy shape charging through the trees. It was so large each step shook the ground. Its eyes glowed a malevolent red in the darkness, and its teeth gleamed sharp as knives. The creature was almost upon them now. Elian remained asleep, oblivious of the danger. The slender figure stood protectively in front of Elian, its body tense to fight. The creature let out a roar that was nothing short of feral. It stood on its hind legs, towering above them. It was a bear, but not like any bear that had ever roamed the earth. It was massive, monstrous, at least 10 feet tall and twice as wide. Its roar echoed through the glade, like a freight train through a valley. The slender figure held its ground, unflinching. The bear lowered itself back down onto all fours, circling the slender figure and the sleeping lantern-bearer. Its beady red eyes glowed in the light of the lantern, hungry and angry. The slender figure did not back down, even as the bear came closer. It held its stance, ready to defend Elian and the lantern at all costs. The bear growled, its hot, putrid breath filling the air. The air was thick with tension, so thick it felt like you could almost reach out and touch it. The slender figure didn't blink, didn't flinch. It kept its eyes locked on the bear even as it came closer. The bear's snout was only feet away now. Its teeth gleamed in the lantern light, drool dripping from the corners. Its roar filled the air once more. In its sleep, the lion looked almost peaceful, like he was in a world of dreams. Even as this nightmare played out around him, for a moment, the bear paused, its eyes shifting from the slender figure to a lion. The lantern was glowing steadily, and the bear's gaze lingered almost longingly. The slender figure knew what the bear was thinking. It clenched its fists tighter, jaw set. The bear's attention shifted back to the slender figure, and its red eyes flickered. It growled once, low and warning, "No, absolutely not." This bear was not getting the lantern. The slender figure narrowed its eyes once more. It knew what this giant bear was thinking now, could see the intent in its eyes. It was just an animal, after all. A wild thing, drawn to the lantern's power like a moth to flame. The thing had no business touching the lantern. It was a lion's responsibility, and the slender figure would not let this bear threaten it. It stepped forward, planting itself between the bear and the sleeping lantern bearer. Its hands were tight with tension. "Leave." The bear stopped in its tracks, suddenly looking uncertain. The slender figure was standing strong, unafraid, and unavaricious. It did not tremble as the bear towered over it, and its voice was strong and confident. "Leave," the slender figure repeated, its eyes narrowed. "This does not belong to you." For a long moment, the bear hesitated. It almost looked as though it would obey. It growled softly, almost like a whine of disappointment. But then it gave one long last look at the sleeping lantern bearer, and it disappeared into the darkness, far beyond the reach of bustling cities, where the air grows quiet and the stars gather more thickly. There is a hidden valley few have ever seen. It is called the Vale of Starlight, though travelers rarely stumble upon it. Some say it only appears to those who need rest most of all, those whose hearts ache for peace, for gentleness, for a place where time itself seems to soften. Tonight, dear listener, that place has opened for you, I said, stepping over the valley's threshold. You come to a halt, a sense of wonder and peace falling over you. The light of your lantern casts flickering shadows among the trees, and you gaze up at the night sky, where the stars seem almost close enough to touch, glittering like diamonds. In the silence, you hear a voice, soft but filled with warmth. "Welcome, weary traveler," the voice says. "Welcome to the Vale." As you approach the cottage, the light spilling from its windows grows brighter, flickering gently, beckoning you onward. The air is soft and cool against your skin, carrying the faint scent of smoke and sweet bread. From somewhere nearby, a nightingale pours an intimate song into the night. The sound wraps around you like a comforting embrace, and you feel the weight of your worries and fear lifting from your shoulders. Finally, you reach the doorstep. The door is ajar, the sound of a low hum coming from inside. You take a sip, sinking into the soft chair. The tea is warm and relaxes you almost immediately, the sweet, soothing herbs washing over your tongue. The fire crackles, casting its soft light across the room, and the caretaker watches you with a knowing smile. "You've come far," they say, their voice soft and low. "I can see the weight of your travels in your eyes. You are weary, weary to the bone." As the caretaker speaks, their words weaving a tale like a lullaby. The fire crackles lazily, its flames casting dancing shadows across the walls. The tea is warm and sweet, each sip carrying a wave of tranquility that relaxes your tired body, your spirit. Your eyes drift to the window, a soft breeze whispering faintly. The moon, full and round, shines with an ethereal glow, its light streaming into the cabin, and the nightingale sings its soft, sad song once more. You can't help but notice the peaceful look on your caretaker's face, their eyes reflecting the firelight as they narrate. Their voice is calming, wrapping around you in a soft embrace as it weaves the tale. The story they're telling is beautiful in its simplicity, and you find yourself falling deeper under its spell with each word. Your eyes grow heavier, the room gradually taking on a soft, golden hue, the fire burning down to embers, the teacup growing cold in your hand. The people of the towns would gather to watch, eyes wide with wonder as the caravan would set up camp, their wagons arranged in a circle, the soft, glowing lanterns casting a soft light in the darkness. The air would be filled with the low hum of crickets and the soft whispers of breeze, as if the very night itself was holding its breath. The children would come closer, drawn by the gentle music of the jingling charms, their small hands reaching out to touch the smooth, painted wood. The people would marvel, whispering to one another about the mysterious travelers, speculating where they had come from and where they had gone. Some thought they were mere ghosts, spirits that roamed the land, bringing calm to those in need. Others believed they were old gods, forgotten and left alone, passing through the lands bringing comfort as they passed. But whatever the case, one thing was certain. Every town was left happier, calmer, and kinder than they had been before the arrival of the moonlit caravan. The air is filled with the scent of pine and fresh-turned earth, and the only sound in the stillness is the gentle jingle of the wagon's charms, like a chorus of tiny, distant bells. You approach the circle, drawn by the soft, silvery light and the promise of rest. The grass is cool beneath your feet, the air fresh in your lungs. You step closer, feeling a strange, almost magnetic pull toward the wagons. The figure bows their head in greeting, their voice as soft as silk. They gesture to the circle of wagons, the faint light of the lanterns dancing across their face. "Welcome, weary traveler," they say. "We have been waiting for you." You feel a strange sense of comfort, of belonging, as if you've known them all of your life. The music, the lanterns, the scent of pine and earth. It all washes over you like a soothing wave, drawing you further into the circle of wagons. You take a sip, the rich, warm liquid flowing down your throat, carrying with it a feeling of deep, soothing comfort. The other wanderers speak quietly, their voices low and soft, as if the quiet of the night is something sacred, something to be cherished. The figure in the silver cloak takes a seat beside you, their eyes filled with the same warm kindness as before. "Tell me, weary traveler," they say, their voice barely above a whisper, "why have you come? What burden do you bear?" You close your eyes, the storyteller's words washing over you like a lullaby, soft and sweet. You can see the places they speak of in your mind's eye, the silver river glistening in the light of the moon, the tall trees swaying softly to the tune only they can hear, the mountains rising like shadowy sentinels against the night sky. A kind of peace and comfort you've never felt before settles into you, as if this moment, this place, and these words were made just for you. The fire crackles softly, the light casting a warm glow across your face. You can feel the sleep tugging at you, the fatigue that had weighed you down for so long seeming to melt away into nothing. The words of the storyteller weave themselves into your thoughts, and you find yourself slipping deeper and deeper into a dream. You can almost see it in your mind's eye, the silvery surface of the river, shimmering in the moonlight, as if made of liquid starlight. The storyteller continues, "This river is said to have magical healing powers," they say. "Any pain or sickness that the water touches vanishes without a trace." But there's one catch. The words of the storyteller paint the image clearly in your mind, and for a moment, it seems as if you might almost see it. The stars reflected on the water's surface, the silver light dancing in the water like liquid diamonds. You see the meadow in your mind, the grass softly illuminated, the night sky above like a canvas, the stars so close you could reach out and touch the edges of a constellation. But, the storyteller murmurs, there is one rule above all others. Her words spin around you, the firelight dancing across the circle, and you feel as if you are floating in a soft, silvery sea. They say, the new storyteller says, that the stars themselves whisper secrets to those who know to listen. If you lie beneath them for long enough, you can begin to hear them. Soft words breathe through the air, faint, distant like the memories of other dreams. The woman gazes upward, as if seeing the stars herself. The fire crackles and sparks, the others sitting in silence, listening intently, caught as you are by the storyteller's soft, soothing voice. The trees from your memory rise before you in the smoke, tall, old, ancient. You can almost hear the music they make, not with notes or instruments, but with the creaks of their branches, the whisper of their leaves, the groan of bark reaching to the sky. It's almost as though you can feel the forest's heartbeat against your skin, beating in time with your own. There's a strange peace that settles over the scene, the storyteller's voice wrapping around you like a soft blanket. Each of the stories seems to weave together, each word blending into the next, until all you can hear are the crackling of the fire, the low murmur of the storyteller, and your own heartbeat. Slow, steady, and deep. Slowly, it begins to feel as if the story is becoming a part of you, a memory to carry, a bit of magic kept hidden away, waiting to be remembered. Your eyes grow heavy, the words in the firelight blending into a soft, dreamlike state. The story surrounds you, a blanket of words and woven from the voices around you. A sense of security and rest settles in your bones, and the circle of travelers are a kind of protection, keeping the world at bay, allowing you to simply be here, in this moment that seems to stretch on, time itself pausing to let you rest. The scene from your imagination seems so clear in this moment, the floating orbs of light casting soft, shifting shadows along the ground. You walk among them, and you can almost feel the memories of those who have come before. Laughter, tears, love, grief, joy, each one a different glowing lantern, like the light shining between their fingers of the stars above. The storyteller's voice continues, soft, rhythmic, carrying you further into a dream. You are so deep into the dream now that the words seem to simply flow into you, like the lanterns themselves drifting gently along the ground. The warmth in your chest is like the glow of the lanterns, the story surrounding you like the air that carries each glowing orb. Through half-closed eyes you can almost see it, the valley of floating lanterns, the dancing shadows in the grass, the soft glow like a second night sky. The image is so clear in your mind, the bridge arcing out from the land, the silver stars above seeming closer than ever, the clouds beneath you shifting slowly like whispers to the night. The bard's words seem almost to add a physical weight to the dream. The images grow clearer, the sounds sharper, the soft musical tone of the tale carrying you closer to that bridge, and the place of moonlight and mist. The image of the bridge seems to grow brighter as the words fade into the firelight. The sound of the lute's last notes linger in the air, leaving a whisper of magic in its wake. The bard's gentle words have weaved a world made from mist and moonlight, a place where each step feels as light as air, and the darkness carries secrets just beyond the reach of the stars. It's a place that feels so real, so close, that you could almost reach up and touch the moonlit mist itself. With every word, the dream feels more real, more solid. The bridge, the lanterns, the moonlit valley, the forest of whispers, all of it feels as real as the night itself. You can almost feel the mist that makes up the bridge of clouds, the soft, low hum of the wood when you step onto it. The sound seems to travel through your body, to your very core. You lean back, letting the stories carry you into sleep, the firelight and the soft words blending into dream. Even in the dream, you can almost see it. The sky caught between day and night, shifting and fading into purple and silver, the sun and moon refusing to let go of each other's edges. Trees in the garden seem caught in the same embrace, their branches shifting, their very shadows plumb dark to light at the edges. The voice in the circle continues, softer now, like a whisper in the night itself. Each flower and leaf shone with a soft, gentle glow. No breeze stirred there. The air was perfectly still, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Your mind drifts among the flowers, the glow of the blossoms lighting the dream. The world is wrapped in shadows and silvery moonlight, and you can almost feel the stillness that hangs in the garden, like the space between two breaths. The gentle sound of the blossoms, chiming like bells, seems to fill the air, soft, like a whisper, like a song. You can see it so clearly, the still, mirror-smooth lake, the stars above reflecting in the water so perfectly that they seem a second sky. You can almost hear the silence, broken only by the quiet sound of water lapping gently against the shore, like the breath of a giant. The stories continue, the words weaving together, blending into a dream that feels more and more real with each moment. You can almost picture it, the stars reflected on the water's surface, their light glimmering softly, as if listening to the words that fall into the still water. Each word of the story is like another drop, falling and rippling away into the dark. Time seems to stretch in the dream, minutes lasting as long as seconds, seconds as long as hours. The silence that follows is as deep as the lake itself, a moment of peace in the quiet night. The dream pulls you with a gentle hand, the stories carrying you deeper into tranquility. The campfire cracks softly, the low hum of the night carrying you ever onward, further and further into dream. Slowly, softly, the dream begins to fade, your eyelids heavier than they were before. Even as the stories fade into echoes, that place of lanterns, floating bridges, mist-woven fields, and soft, silver-lit trees seems to linger, as if you might simply fall back into it, if you just let go. So you let go. And in the moments just before sleep truly claims you, you find yourself in the dream again, each step feeling as soft and light as a breath. The silence of the bridge is broken only by the faint hum of the mist. No sound, no motion, Just the gentle swaying of the bridge as you walk. Your feet hardly seem to touch the wood as you walk, the bridge humming softly, like the song of a violin. The mist is woven around you like a warm cloak, its touch comforting, its presence gentle. The stars and the moon above remain close, the constellations reflected perfectly in the bridge's mist, as if the night itself has come down from the sky to join you. Your feet hardly seem to touch the wood as you walk, the bridge humming softly, like the song of a violin. The mist is woven around you like a warm cloak, its touch comforting, its presence gentle. The stars and the moon above remain close, the constellations reflected perfectly in the bridge's mist, as if the night itself has come down from the sky to join you. You have no sense of time or direction. The world is reduced to the wood under your feet, the hum in the air, and the stars painted mist all around you. You seem suspended here, caught in a liminal space, neither here nor there, neither asleep or awake. The bridge supports you, carries you, and the stars watch. The humming of the bridge seems almost hypnotizing in this dream. You feel weightless, as if you've stepped into another world. The mist wraps around you, caressing your skin like a gentle touch. For a moment, it feels as though the stars themselves are within reach, so close that you could reach out and take one in your hand. As if the bridge you walk upon is a thread that connects the earth to the night sky. The bridge sways in a wind that you can't feel, a gentle, almost imperceptible motion that you feel more than you see. The air feels alive, warm and soft, the mist dancing around you like a partner in a slow dance. The stars overhead seem to grow brighter, each one like a beacon in the night, illuminating the sky like a million soft, gentle eyes, watching as you move along this bridge of mist, this bridge that seems to connect a world of dream and a world of reality. At the bridge's far end, something seems to shimmer faintly. The mist there is thicker, denser. You can almost make out something in the distance, a structure of some kind, just on the other side, as if the bridge itself is inviting you onward. A kind of hum seems to come from it now, a little stronger than before, like a soft, whispered promise. Come closer, the bridge seems to urge. You find your hand reaching out, your touch gently grazing the mist. It curls around your fingers, wrapping you in a gentle embrace as the bridge hums a little louder. Dream is almost real now, the sensation so tangible you could almost believe you're truly walking this night bridge, feeling the mist, hearing the hum of the wood, drawing closer and closer to whatever waits on the other end. The structure in the distance resolves into a soft, low shape, as if you're seeing a building through a heavy fog. The mist is still thick there, obscuring your view of what waits on the other side. Your feet seem to take a step of their own accord, bringing you closer to the shape. The hum of the bridge is louder now, more insistent, as if it wants you to cross over. Your hand stretches outward, the mist wrapping around it like a cool embrace. The hum of the bridge is stronger, almost like a whisper now, a soft but firm invitation. The shape in the distance slowly reveals its features, a gate, tall and strong, carved with symbols you can almost recognize, symbols like stars. The gate beckons you forward, closer now. The mist seems to part to let you pass, the hum of the wood like a heartbeat. You reach out, touching the gate now, the mist clinging to your skin, the metal beneath cool and smooth under your fingers. It seems like a barrier, a door separating a world from a dream. And yet it is open, just a crack. The hum of the gate seems to grow stronger as your fingers run across the metal. It's a gentle sound, almost like a low, slow singing, deep and quiet. Slowly, almost on its own accord, the gate creaks open, the mist swirling around it like water as it moves. A path now stretches beyond, the mist covering the ground like thick, soft fabric beneath your feet. You step across the threshold, the gate closing behind you. The mist is thicker now, still soft but with a weight to it, wrapping you like a blanket. The bridge's hum is quieter here, its sound distant and faint, still carrying a soft sense of welcome. You can see things in the distance, figures moving about, lights shining faintly in the mist. The path leads you closer. You can hear the sound of laughter, the gentle hum of conversation. These are familiar sounds, the sort you might hear in a village, the sound of people at work or at play. It is like a little village set amid the mist, small, simple houses and shops, each one glowing warmly from within. Lanterns sway gently, their light glowing soft and yellow like a star cast down to the earth. The figures you saw move about here now, their conversation reaching your ears as you pass, the words soft and indistinct, like a song half heard. Some see you and nod, as if recognizing you. They continue about their business unhurried, as if no stranger has wandered among them. You walk through the village, taking in each moment, each small detail of this strange place. The mist is still all around you, but it seems almost welcoming here. The people all around seem to go about their lives unconcerned, their movements measured and calm. And for a moment you feel like you have somehow always been here, known these simple people and this misty town. There are shops and little markets here, each filled with goods both familiar and curious. Food, jewels, tools, all carried by the pale, soft light of the lanterns. You stop to peer into a small shop filled with jewelry. Its wares gleam softly in the lantern light. The jewelry itself unlike anything you've ever seen before. The jewelry here is crafted from materials you might expect: pearls, silver, gold, bone. But there are other substances in the jewelry too, things you have no name for. A woman stands nearby watching you look at the wares. She seems friendly, her smile almost motherly. Looking for anything in particular? She asks, her voice warm with curiosity. No, you say, your words stumbling a little over your tongue. I'm just, she nods, her smile unfazed. Sometimes, she replies, it is best to wander and see where it takes you. Your gaze drifts across the jewelry on the table. There's a strange sense of familiarity there. There are rings, bracelets, necklaces, and one thing that seems to glimmer just slightly more than the others. You move closer, drawn unconsciously to the object, your fingers almost reaching for it. The shopkeeper smiles knowingly, not surprised. That one is a fine piece, she muses softly, watching the way you look at it. A unique piece. It draws those who need it. The object is on a small pillow of silk, its surface smooth and glistening in the lantern light. The edges a little frayed. It glimmers softly, like a star caught between the dark and the night. The shopkeeper leans forward. Go on, she whispers. Take a closer look. You reach out, your touch tentative, but growing more confident as you take the object in your hand. It sits easily in your palm, its cool smoothness almost seeming to hum in time to the mist and the stars. It feels old, ancient even, as if it carries in its touch all the memories of every person who has held it within their hand before. The woman leans closer, her voice almost a murmur. Can you sense its history? She asks, watching you as you hold the object. You shut your eyes, your hand holding the object tightly now. A sense of history seems to seep through your fingers, as if with your touch you are touching the hands of the people who came before, feeling their emotions and their dreams. The object itself is old, that much is clear, but the history it holds seems ancient, stretching back in time to a period you can't even begin to imagine. The woman moves closer, her voice still soft. Can you hear the whispers the object carries? She asks. Your thoughts start to swirl, the sounds drifting through your mind in whispers. These voices are soft, like a memory half remembered, but they hold a sense of power all the same. For a moment, you think you catch a glimpse of things. Images flickering through your mind, a city in another world, people gathered around something glowing softly in the night, a sense of calm, of peace, of hope. You open your eyes and the woman is there, watching you intently. You felt it, didn't you? She asks, already knowing. You nod, your mouth feeling strangely dry. The object is still in your hand, the cool, smooth surface a quiet comfort. The woman's eyes are on you, watching your every movement, as if she understands something even you have yet to recognize. She tilts her head, a curious expression on her face. Tell me, she says, the words almost a command. Tell me what you saw when you held the object. You try to put the images into words, struggling to describe the things it brought into your mind. I saw a city, you begin, a place I don't know, but it felt familiar. The people gathered around something aglow in the night, but I couldn't tell what it was. It was so faint. She nods, a slight smile on her face. And what else? She asks, her voice pressing you. You struggle to find the words, still trying to understand the images that swirl in your mind. They were waiting, you say. I could feel it, the sense of anticipation. They needed something to happen, something important. They were hopeful, afraid, as if their entire world was hinging on the outcome of whatever they were waiting for. The woman listens, her eyes never leaving your face. Her expression is thoughtful now, as if your words are confirming something she already suspected. You pause for a moment, trying to recall the rest of the images. There was a sense of Loss, I think, you say, as if they had already suffered through something terrible, and this moment seemed like a small beacon of hope, a chance to right a wrong. The woman leans in, her eyes intently on you. And the glow, she asks, her voice soft but insistent. Did you see the source of it? You close your eyes again, trying to conjure the image back to your mind. I couldn't see what it was, you whisper, the memory still hazy, like a half-remembered dream that slips away as soon as you wake. It was like trying to see something veiled or obscured. I couldn't see what it was. The woman nods, her eyes still on you. What did it feel like? She presses. What did the glow make you feel? You think for a moment, trying to remember the feelings the image brought to mind. It was comforting, you say softly, the words coming to you slowly. It was warm, like a fire in the night, or a candle in a window. It was safe. The woman smiles, as if your words are what she expected. And when you looked into it, she asks, what did you feel then? You close your eyes tighter, straining to recall. I felt you pause, trying to find the right words. I felt hopeful, you say, your voice soft, almost like a whisper, like something I had been seeking was finally within reach. The woman reaches out, her hand resting gently on your arm. This object you held, she says, her voice gentle but firm. It holds memories, fragments of a time and place long gone. It seems as though it has chosen you. Your eyes open, the memory slipping away like mist. The object is still in your hand, but its smooth surface seems different somehow, warmer to the touch, the feeling of history somehow more pronounced. The woman is watching you closely now, an almost reverent expression on her face. This object has a purpose, she says, her voice low and soft. It has found its way to you for a reason, for a purpose beyond even us to know. You turn the object over in your hand, feeling the smoothness beneath your touch. It seems almost alive, as if it were reaching for something within you. The woman's hand is still on your arm, her touch warm and grounding. She smiles gently, as if understanding the effect the object is having on you. The object holds more than you can see, she whispers, her eyes locked on yours. It will speak to you, if you listen. You nod, her words stirring something within you. You felt it, you think, this strange power within the object, the sense of history and energy. The woman seems to sense your thoughts, her hand squeezing your arm gently. Close your eyes, she says, her voice commanding. You do, letting the darkness descend, letting the object and its power fill your mind. You shut your eyes, the world around you disappearing. There is only the sound of the mist, whispering softly in your ear, the feel of the object in your hand, its surface smooth and reassuring. The woman is silent now, her hand falling away, letting you stand on your own. For a moment, there is nothing. Then, the object pulses softly in your hand like a heartbeat, once, twice, and you feel something, a memory rising, unbidden. Your eyes are still closed, but you can see, somehow, you can see. The vision is not clear, but impressions are there, flitting through your mind like shadows, images, memories, sensations. You can feel the object in your hand responding, like a key unlocking a door long shut. The woman's voice speaks again, her words soft and almost melodic. Let it speak, she says gently. Let it show you what it has carried all this time. You take a deep breath, letting the feeling of the object in your hand wash over you like a wave. Your mind a blank slate for it to paint upon. The sense of something ancient, something powerful, begins to rise within you as the object's images begin to form in your mind. They are blurred, indistinct, like glimpses through a window thick with mist, but you can feel them there. The woman is silent, watching you intently. She seems to sense your growing awareness, the way the object is connecting with you. As you stand there, eyes closed, the object in your hand pulsing gently like a heart, the visions grow more and more clear. You can feel the object drawing you deeper, its power reaching into a place within you that you never knew was there. Then, suddenly, you see a glimmer. The fog is lifting, the images before you coming into focus. There is a city, vast and ancient, like something out of a dream. Shadows move within the streets, and you feel a sense of power and beauty so strong you almost stagger at the sight. But then, the vision fades.